Hello and welcome anybody, everybody, but probably nobody. This is ThorW and I'm here to teach you guys, in case you could not tell by the title, my skill set and the theory behind all the skills I use for the Tower of Despair. This video is going to be a predecessor, precursor, precedent, other pre-words. It's going to be a video to come right before the Tower of Despair tutorial series where I'm going to teach you specific floors and specifically how to beat each floor, except for the first 14. Unfortunately, the first 14 I did not get recordings for, so if anyone has any questions whatsoever on those specific floors, I can and will answer any questions you have in the comments below. Direct them towards me. Any questions you have on the skill build, anything like that, I'll tell you my theory behind everything, why I do this and that, and exactly answer anything you've got for me. So, without any further distraction, let's go right over the skills that I use for the Tower of Despair. Right now my skill setup is used. This is for pretty normal dungeon run skill loadout. But we're going to switch that up, because the Tower of Despair, as for those who don't know, is 100 floors dungeon where you can do one floor per day, where you are, it's a challenge dungeon. You are set up and pit against enemies that are unfair. They're extremely powerful. They have skill sets that no class in the game can actually have, like, I don't know, a monk with exorcist skills or an exorcist with avenger skills, stuff like that, etc., etc. And because of such, it can be very challenging. Now, what are the main challenges that a monk is going to have to face specifically, because this is a monk-specific guide? A monk is going to find a lot of problems with heavy enemies. These are enemies that do not get launched very easily. If you can knock them off their feet, they are very low to the ground in the beginning, so it's very hard to juggle them. They have problems with super armor enemies that can either remain super armored for good or super armor and then chase you down for a period of time. Those are very difficult for monk to deal with as well, because you rely a lot on your hit stun. They have trouble with counterattacking enemies that are able to take a hit from the monk and launch a counterattack into their own combo, likely resulting in your own death. They have trouble with the same thing that any other class has trouble with: the incredible amount of damage and the incredible burst potential of a lot of these APCs that you're going to face in the Tower of Despair. So, how are we going to deal with that? Well, I'm going to teach you guys the tips and tricks needed to deal with the Tower of Despair. Tips and tricks is usually like, you know, buzzwords to get people to come and click your stuff. But this is for real tips and tricks. You are going to be scumbagging the hell out of the Tower of Despair if you follow my guide. Will it feel right? Will it feel like cheating? Yes, it'll feel very much like cheating, and it's going to feel great to beat those enemies that are able to kill you in one combo. They're cheating, so we're going to cheat. So, let's get to cheating. The first way we cheat is with our skill set. We're going to take some skills that are going to allow us to take advantage of the programming of the APCs and make them our bitches, our slaves, basically. There are certain things that the APCs in the Tower of Despair, and APCs in this game in general, have a lot of difficulty dealing with. So this is a normal dungeon loadout for me for the most part. Everything's pretty standard, nothing extremely different. But what we're going to do is, you see this ducking uppercut? Whoop. You see this ducking straight? We're not going to need those that much. Ducking body blow we keep for the stun potential. Chopping hammer we keep for the launch potential. But if we take those out, where are these 1200 SP going to go, Thor? How are we going to cheat the hell out of the AI? Oh, let me tell you, little birdies. There's a move called Smasher, and there's a move called Divine Crush. These two moves are going to be your bread and butter for scumming out 1v1 fights in the Tower of Despair. They are extremely important. Exceedingly important. Why is this? A lot of enemies, a lot of APCs in the Tower of Despair have very good X-axis control and X-axis fighting abilities. The Smasher, Grab, and the Divine Crush both have the ability to grab enemies moving across the y-axis toward you. The Smasher can grab them as they move towards you across the y-axis. Divine Crush can knock them into the ground or bounce them off the ground with the Shockwave as they move towards you from the y-axis. A lot of APCs don't deal with y-axis movement very well, don't fight very well on the y-axis. Every so often you're going to find an Asura APC that's able to use some y-axis stuff to their advantage, like wave radiation or something like that. But most APCs have difficulty dealing with this. We'll try to approach you on the y-axis and just run into a Smasher which you can follow up with something else. Whether it be a quick exquisite combo for those heavy guys, or you can try and launch them with a machine gun jab into a bigger combo. You can try and bounce them again with a chopping hammer, etc., etc. Smasher is going to be a good lead into that, and Divine Crush you can use to bounce the opponent, and then you can run away, waiting for Smasher to come back up for another combo. The point of Tower of Despair is you get one try per day. You're not going in there you shouldn't go in there trying to be a hero and trying to combo them like they're normal opponents. They are not normal opponents. They are cheaters. So we're going to cheat right back. This is how you do it. Now, the next video after this is going to show exactly how to use Smasher and Divine Crush in order to do this. Let's go over the rest of the skills. The rest of the skills are pretty standard. Cure you're going to want to have a relatively high level of. There are enemies that will 100% be able to poison or bleed you, no matter what you do. There are enemies in the Tower of Despair that will inflict poison on you while you're hitting them, just because they're just dripping with poison, or inflict bleed on you just by breathing on you. Cure being at around level 7-ish is very, very good. That'll cure most, if not all, of those status effects, and you want to because they do a lot of damage per tick. Too much damage per tick for you to allow upon yourself. And then the rest of it, very standard. You maxed out Will Driver, you're maxed out Technical Mastering, Combat Mastery. There's a couple things that you guys can switch up. Something to note in the Tower of Despair, the cooldowns on cube skills are just like PvP. You're going to walk into Tower of Despair, your cube skills are going to be on cooldown. So if you want to take some points out of certain cube skills and put them into normal skills. For example, you could take points out of Gatling Punch if you wanted to, put those back into the Ducking Straight Punch or the Ducking Uppercut if you wanted those. You could take points out of Hurricane and Roll if you wanted to, and do the same thing. I would recommend keeping points in Shadow Clone. There are APCs that can be juggled, and Shadow Clone is going to allow you to burn through their health very quickly if you have to dodge around for a while until that's up. I'm going to make a special case Twister of Judgment. This is your saving grace for the Tower of Despair. Twister of Judgment is Monk's one and only long-range move skill that will deal damage to the enemy while you're running away. It will deal damage to the enemy while you're setting up for anything else while you're waiting for other cooldowns. So, Twister of Judgment is going to be one of your most important skills. Your big skills are going to be Smasher, Divine Crush, and Twister of Judgment if you're going to follow my guide. And trust me, my guide works. My guide works very well. I got stuck on a certain, I believe she was floor 6 APC for quite some time. Then I thought, okay, I'm going to stop playing like a normal person, and I'm going to start playing like someone trying to take advantage of someone else. And this is how you do it. And the next video will show you the exact use of these techniques and how very effective they are. As for TP, this is a relatively normal set of TP. You know, I have the one extra for basic training. We got Will Driver, ducking attacks, exquisite combo, etc., etc. What I would suggest for this is pulling points out of Hurricane and Roll, maxing out the Twister of Judgment as high as you can. Level 4 gives you an 80% chance of a double Twister. You're not going to use Hurricane and Roll very much, if at all. I'd also put points into ducking uppercut, or ducking attacks and whatnot. Anyway, as I was saying, Smasher, maybe. You're not going to really use Hurricane and Roll that much, so having TP in Hurricane and Roll is not going to be very helpful for you for the Tower of Despair. Having TP in Twister of Judgment and guaranteeing a double Twister is going to help you a lot. Double Twister will do a lot of damage. Double Twister will stay on the field even if you die and have to use a token to respawn. The Double Twister from before will stay on the field and keep doing damage to your opponent. Something to mention, if you do die and have to respawn with a token, your opponent will refill their health bar to full. You cannot try and beat them that way. However, if you quickly respawn with a Twister out, the Twister will stay out, keep hitting your opponent while you're back up, and you can use your invincibility frames to get some quick hits in. It's a perfectly viable strategy. You get 3 tokens from Simona for free per day. You can only use 3 tokens in the Tower of Despair, so I would definitely advise taking advantage of this. So, for this extra 2 TP I've got, I would probably put it into upgrading ducking attacks, something like that. You could upgrade basic training if you want, but you're not going to throw a lot of auto attacks. You could easily rip points out and upgrade Smasher for the additional damage that it'll do. It's not that much. Same with Divine Crush. Perfectly fine to do that. Even in the Tower of Despair, Exquisite combo is going to be very important to you. Will Driver is still going to be relatively important for when you can get those combos off. Anyone that you're finding that you can't really combo, and if you're having trouble with them, I would suggest taking the points out of the Will Driver, keep them in Exquisite combo. You can still poke pretty much every APC. There are very few that you can't poke with this and run away from. But I would advise, if you're having too much trouble with a certain opponent, ripping points out of the TP for the other things that aren't that important, throwing them into Smash or Divine Crush, because you're going to be using those a lot. So that's the basic rundown of what I roll in the Tower of Despair and the differences. Again, honorable mention to Sidewind. Sidewind is a very long-range X-axis poke that can outrange most attacks that enemies can throw out. It's pretty darn useful for poking. You can definitely take points out of something else. Again, Hurricane and Rolling Gatling Punch have very, very long cooldowns, and may not be the most useful things for you guys to have up unless you're going to play very slow. And you might want some points in Sidewind. Sidewind's very good. And Sacred Counter is going to be very helpful for you as well. That's another thing you can put TP into. It will reduce incoming damage when it has TP points into it. That's something to definitely think about for Tower of Despair. I've tried it before. It's okay. You don't need it, but it's a very good tech thing to have available to you. Definitely have Sacred Counter available, because it'll get you out of some tight situations, especially if you're starting to get cornered and you need to move out of a place now, because it will allow you to escape. More than likely with your life. So that's the basic rundown of skills. Definitely think about Sidewind, think about TP for Sacred Counter, in case you're not able to get those cube skills out, you don't want to wait that long, stuff like that. That'll allow you a little bit more freedom for yourself for the main movement. So, that's going to be the end of this video for the skills. Be sure to check the next video to see these skills in implementation for floors 15 through 20. I'll see you guys on that video. I hope these skills make sense to you all. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, any questions about the first 14 floors in specific, I can help you guys out. Ask them in the comments below. I will do everything in my power to help you. This is a monk-specific guide. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to help you with very many other classes. I can help you with Male Ranger and Battle Mage, as those are my 2 other mains that I play. But I'm not going to be able to help you with many other classes. I'm sorry guys, I don't have the answers for Tower of Despair on them. Tower of Despair is a very, very specific dungeon challenge for you guys out there, and I would advise asking people who really know what they're doing for advice on whatever class you're doing for those specific floors. So in the meantime, thank you guys for watching this. Check out the next video. It'll be coming out exactly the same time as this one, right after this one, if you guys are watching this early enough, for those loyal fans of mine. Watch these skills in implementation. Watch how we're able to scum out the NPCs, and watch how we're able to take advantage of this. Take advantage of the cheaters and out-cheat them. So, see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye, everybody.